So my gripe in DBFZ today, for whatever reason, and something that grinds my gears, is the simplest observation that actually has eluded me for many months on PC that I never contemplated until I started paying attention. Training Mode Network, a scene known for a beginner and intermediate level investment for a plethora of gaming IPs in the online anime FGC realm, has a large rotating weekly presence composed of varying hosts or personalities or figures to each one for the engagement to its authenticity. Then, it hit me out of nowhere the past few weeks I'd been in the server looking back at the records. Why hasn't there been any beginner DBFZ? Or any intermediate DBFZ? It feels like this would have been among the more pedestrian choices of competition and representation a long time ago. I'm trying to look through a lot of this chat while I'm talking, and yet I actually believe there's been nothing here other than the channels to insinuate that DBFZ might be here or might have been here. In fact, I don't believe Training Mode Network has housed a single DBFZ bracket to its name or for the community. And the thought in that kind of pisses me off the more I think about it. Like, I don't think it really matters to a lot of other people here, or if they're even paying that much attention to it. It's just a lot of memes and whatnot and talking about this shit. But it doesn't piss other people off as much as it makes me angry studying this, because how would you know? They're literally just, it's just here. Like, how would people even know if events were hosted for the game? How would they know? The Discord, I don't know if the Discord has any records of this. I'm trying to find this out now, or find out somewhere. Hang on. That was the shit I was looking for. This is exactly what I was looking for. So that's where Tagoro came from. Al-Kaifer fought them before. Zrrkon has never seen them before. Delta Runner. That Yokai Yui, never seen him before. Emergency Pancakes, never seen him before. April 7th, 2024. What's this one? It's March 24th, 2024. The Mythic J, never heard of him before. Yokai. Draconis. Tagoro. March 24th, March 10th. They barely had 7 participants. Boine. Baja Zero Storm. Oh, I've hosted this dude before. So that's where he came from. But this goes as far back to March 10th, 2024. Yeah, these are all under Doveingly, under top 8 tweets tutorial. That's Vicarous. So take me to top 8 tweets tutorial. Wait a minute. TMN Neo. Oh. Okay. So this is under the old administration. What about on the YouTube channel? Let me go to the YouTube channel. Hang on. Bingo. Are you damn. They don't have anything. Fuck. Hang on, wait a minute. Dove. Bingo, hang on. And for those of you guys who are wondering why I'm doing this, Doveingly was the original host, one of the original founding members of Training Mode Network. And so it makes some sense that if it's probably not on his stuff, then it wouldn't be anywhere, because he was one of the original members of Training Mode Network. So there's a good chance that some of the content may be on his channel, if on nothing else. Bingo. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't believe this shit. So you mean to tell me Training Mode Network has housed 6 complete tournaments for Dragon Ball FighterZ?
Okay, it'll be a few safe jab setups, but it is not as fast as normal. Thank you, Nexon.
Do some
stages are really long, they're really tall, and
it's with the Yamcha.
So much blue life on Nappa, but I don't think you have to worry about it.
Nah, yeah,
but you worried about it.
You worried so much about
Kawalimba.
Oh, I like that setup to get the
Kawalimba was a beginner.
Wait.
That definitely was a long time ago.
Welcome back.
Winners quarterfinals. Winners finals.
Until I think it's
winners quarterfinals. Oh, it didn't even have a chance to
May 30th.
To do much. Okay, then this was a low turnout, which is why I'm guessing Kawalimba won it.
There maybe like level. I'm trying to think of how you could.
Losers finals. Grand finals, Kawalimba. Yeah, this was so Kawalimba probably won this one against that Zrrkon guy who was pending Super Broly player. Both times that I can note here, he was a pending Super Broly player. Kaolimba hasn't dropped that team because even if since I've known him,
Dude,
Kaolimba's had that team from the beginning, where it's just mixed city.
That guy deserved it.
It's slow getting started, but it's a strong ass finish. Okay, so let's assess here real quick, because this is good that I found this, but this is seriously bad. Why there isn't anything here for this? So last year, 2 years ago, was when the administration shifted over between Training Mode Network, the original, and then Training Mode Network Neo. I remember that because that was a huge announcement a ways back about the debut of Training Mode Neo, when it was like a whole rebrand, I think. Hang on, let me look, chat. I'm trying to... That's the rebrand. So hang on. So where? Hang on, chat. Hang on. Now with Neo, it's the same minus the portraits and Hall of Fame entry. Actually, as a follow-up, why did the community rebrand to Neo, and what are the differences between now and the old community? That's actually what I wanted to know. So I used to run everything. Yeah, Arcadia, Nasara, Dove. And now I stepped down, so Neo is members of the community stepping up to continue running stuff, albeit differently from how I did it. Okay. I'm rebranding this game chat. Canceling a gentle rebranding as Curry Cup. My whole social media presence got rebranded to her the second I started playing her in Melty. As a follow-up, I was going to ask and I remembered. Where? It's got to be here somewhere. We've grown a lot since our rebranding, and okay, so yeah, it happened mid 2024 area, early 2024 area is when the rebranding started. Somewhere around this time frame. Okay, so this gives me somewhat of an idea. And that was the old layout under Doveingly and arrows. Shit. There's nothing else I can see here. But that was around the time that Arcadia of Sorrow stepped down from running the majority of TMNT, and then it became a whole network of people, which is why they have the continual rotation of ballots that you can submit to try to be a TO for the program for the event. So that's one mystery out of the way. So, okay, so let's put the mystery together here real quick in order to recap. So, Doveingly has this on his channel back when he was under the original administration with him and Arcadia Sorrow. This was easily... May 14th, 2024. So this was early 2024. This was almost 2 years ago, was the last DBFZ training mode network that they housed for the community. And this was on PC, if I'm looking at this right, because this is all those are PC controls on the screen. So they only had 6 in total under the old administration. And none of that transferred to the current administration under Training Mode Network Neo, which means that... Hang on, before I continue that thought, when did rollback first come into Dragon Ball FighterZ? Fighterz is finally too long awaited rollback. The update, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. There is no cross-play support system. What was the date? I can't remember what date that was. February 29th, so it was at the end of Black History Month, first day of March. Okay, I remember it was the first day of something. I just can't remember that far back. Somebody in the comments section, let me know what that is. So February 29th, March 1st, or what? Now, one of those 2 days is when the update went live, and then that's when the whole screw job happened between the platform segregation. So early 2024, and then this is March, April, May. So they've only had one, quote unquote, technically one tournament on the rollback. Hang on. But what about them all? That's not it. That's rebrand. DBFZ top 8. That was number 5, number 4, number 3. They didn't have a number 2. They didn't have a number 1 or number 2 documented. They have a number 3, 4, and 5. There is no 6. So this one here that I'm guessing... Skip to the end. Yeah, Kawalimba won. So Kawalimba won the last Training Mode Network Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament for beginner intermediate level. He won the last one, but it's not documented here in the system that he won it. Which means that the turnout for that event was either significantly low or either the turnout was low enough to not record it, or he just didn't really care about recording that one, or it was like on low demand, even though I find that so hard to believe. It's after rollback, and I figured this should be in like a steady demand, not a massive demand, because it's a game that is respectively past its prime. But May 14th, 2024, in April. So let's do DBFZ 6 top 8. DBFZ 5 top 8. Yeah, they didn't make one. This throws... Oh my god, this screws up everything. So this is this is somewhat incomplete. So they only have 6 registered events on the original program, on the original timeline, Doveingly's original channel. From there, in the Discord, they only have 3 of those 6 events documented, all of which are all posted by Doveingly. So I'm going to assume that if this was the earlier administration also, where it was either 2 people housing everything, or 1 person that was still directly hosting 1 lane, and that's what they kind of command, then I'm going to assume that managing Dragon Ball FighterZ was Doveingly's responsibility to Training Mode Network. So when he retired, then that's possibly a part of how DBFZ was lost in the equation, and there hasn't been anyone since to try and respectfully house or host something for this scene. Damn it, this is not good. Alright, so not that long ago, I went ahead and I started typing some in here while I see Zrrkon, Tagri, Kremiza, and a handful of others in here from either from Blaze Blue or from Persona or from just certain parts of the LGB FGC were in here talking. So I went ahead and I also talked myself in here. So I'll talk in going over what it is I talked about. And I got to the bottom of another layer here. So what I said was, I hope so, because I really would like to compete here for this. It was my dream to win, and that can't happen here if there is no here to start. Better yet, I'd love to sponsor the idea so others or other players could have that here if I can't be one of them. I'd help create the window of opportunity on home turf here. And then Zrrkon, that's her here. She's one of the TOs here in Training Mode Network. Unfortunately, unless someone decides to step up and run the brackets for the game, it's probably not going to happen. Gonna be real idea. You might like it better than that. I don't know. That's Ogidine and Zrrkon going back and forth at having consistency. And then what I said, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, wasn't there a person who sought to run this pillar of TMN for the brand or no? But it's a super lost opportunity for a whole generation to profit from being lurking here to TMNT, and they legit eat it up and be back. So there's a legit fundamentally beginner-friendly area, not polarizing to the latter out there. Bum or Neo or myself or KLB don't host brackets in that regard unless it's a set request or something. I've always had an idea for these or a layer for DBFZ. I just can't act on it myself because there's already enough on my plate to deal with. I gave her a starting point. I think she'll have fun with the pool we gave her. Fighters brackets can be a pain in the ass to run. Plus there's not a huge pool of people here that play, so it realistically wouldn't make much of a splash, I don't think. The patch is cool and all, but the game is still pretty dead, all things considered. I strongly disagree with that, because it's only dead by her perspective. It's not dead in general. And then I clarified that up here. So I said it's not that dead as a whole is struggling on upkeep before this patch? Absolutely, because of the options to the market now. That was before the patch in 2024 that started everything with the rollback integration. However, it's not done with its player base. There may not be a lot of people in here, this server per se, barring the few in passing that do post in this section, but the changes vastly when the element is introduced in the environment. It being a pain in the ass to host the people, the veteran DBFZ goers at time anyways, as a part of the reason not many people choose to host DBFZ. There's way more ungrateful or greedy people than the latter or the thankful player base. Thus, that's why the pool of options to the scene is diminished since the rollback integration. It's not just the weird division of how the rollback update was done for the platforms, which I don't think she knows if she's over here on PC. But it's a rooted community appreciation issue that came to light but never addressed outside the few that cared to know. And then every other thing after this has been bad man's posting in here. And then people pinging for games, but not really anybody like acting on like getting in any practicing, I guess, or it's just a server that's just here. It's not really picking up. Although I will say I'll give him credit for having a lot of these whopper memes on deck, let's say. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a lot of Burger King memes. Okay, so the earlier part of this video was collecting all of my notes in real time, literally from Training Mode Network's Discord service live, and an attempt at the hosts. But I couldn't really get anything. This is because the hosting issue was actually before their current administration. Now it's a background thing on the shelf, because even the main people active didn't do anything for this scene because they couldn't. Nobody wants to touch the hosting gig or care to, if at all. Plus, only one person has answered me to it, Zrrkon, and even then, it's not a confident response when they don't know the scene at all. They just know some of the characters, or they just know the roster from labbing the roster. They don't actually play the game to know the scene. That way you understand the habits of the people. But anyway, I'm putting this timeline together for myself and for you guys out there, the viewers. That way we all can connect the dots. Something to pass the time here during my Ghost Recon mission. Give me some clarity for this shit. So let's take it from the top. So Training Mode Network Dragon Ball FighterZ, while spread out, was a thing in the original version of Training Mode Network and their original tourney brand in 2023 to 2024. These housed between 8 to 16 people for a beginner intermediate level competitive turnout, balanced with other more mainstream titles that were there at the time, between Unicler or Guilty Gear or Persona Ultimax or Blaze Blue or Central Fiction and blah 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 blah. Dragon Ball FighterZ only had Doveingly as the key tournament host after barely 6 successful events. This was a gamer named Doveingly. This was how Toguro and Mr. Kawalimba came about in their startups in the scene. Additionally, 3 of these 6 events for TMN were officially documented in the server in a separate posted listings, not directly accessible to the viewers, but those using the private Discord search engine in order to single it out. You can find it that way. You won't be able to just find it bluntly there in like announcements or top 8 postings. You gotta go all the way back to the original subsection where they were originally doing this under original TMNT before they shifted around in the Discord. So one of those 6 events, the final one, was hosted on the rollback standard update. That same said universal screw job in 2024, mind you, that started all this for the video game. So you can't state the argument that all these events all happened on PC netplay before rollback when the last one did in fact do that. All 6 of these events are on Doveingly's YouTube channel alongside a few other events scattered. This is down in the comments section below. Description. So I'm to assume in that trade-off that the official Training Mode Network channel happened, or It was created only after the rebranding and stage change, all in all, in the general direction shift of the brand. As of the IP's rebranding from base Training Mode Network to Training Mode Network Neo in 2024, this was in April or May of 2024, Doveingly and Arrow both retired the Training Mode Network organization, to my knowledge, in my notes here. More so, Arrow solidifying the key people he wanted respectfully as the event successor, and him not hosting the events anymore. I don't know whether or not he still owns the Discord or not. Both of them are just gamers now. Next, this lane, as time-honored as it is with BB Tag and Central Fiction, even Ultimax, wasn't given as much love or appreciation as the other games, and it shows. Some people hovered around my notes that I needed to accumulate more than just try to contribute to them to get it booming here again. Players that were doing DBFZ weren't even trying to recruit new DBFZ goers traveling through to grow the spot to reinforce a pitched argument for TMN of resuming, or just resuming a DBFZ hosting, or trying to anyways. What's missing is the players that care about Dragon Ball FighterZ in here to push the envelope of Dragon Ball FighterZ representation and the administration's response. They will respond to that, as they will, till it's proven otherwise, in order to help or hurt that stance push. It's a mix of the people that never thought highly of Dragon Ball FighterZ and only see it as some Mickey-ass game just to suck their own game off, basically, and to our own communities lacking and taking it for granted the process in how Training Mode Network has been housing these for the next generation properly. So, as for pending slander in the background, I don't think I have to go into much about this. I'm going to make this quick. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm always ready for you to take your best shot. You can shit on the game all you want, yet you still play it at the end of the day just because you need the fix. Fighter players think the same thing about BB Tag to a degree being some shit, or even Ultimax being some shit, or Unicler being some shit. I guarantee you, unfortunately, as all these scenes have a bias about the other one due to the fact that they're fast-paced, monkey-ass committal games with massive button pressers, be they intentional or otherwise, to invoke a lot of those monkey habits that are all pressed around different base experiences of expressive enrichment or satisfaction, or a mix of the two. You take your pick. All those games are dead as fuck too, that only come alive when the community wills it to, or they aren't dead and just don't have the correct person in that position to create the magnetism that always draws people in. They all bring levels of acceptable chaos in fighting games and into fighting games that we love and value or even tolerate. Mix those words around. But they're all different at the core in their love. As for pending criticism about the hypocrisy of our community, begrudgingly I will hold that. I cannot, in all honesty, defend us. I have to hold all that shit because I can't defend the scene. I can't defend them or the scene, knowing I've called out the scene for this exact type of structural lacking numerous times in the past, only to still be proven right at the end of the day. What'd you post down here? You and this DBFZ slander, you know, I ought to shoot you right now, dude. I ain't got time for this shit. You all lucky I can keep... Boy, I swear, dude. Listen, let me tell you something about this shit. Let me tell you something, because there's dumbasses like you in the community that don't understand why this is a big deal. Like, how would you know? How would you even try to care about what these people try to do, like Doveingly, or people like myself, or people like the event owner that try to manage these things systemically for these scenes? Let me tell you something. Every scene has one somewhere. Scenes that are always changing, or almost always changing, need a starter point to help teach you the beginning of it all. Beginner level brackets matter way more than people realize. They're basically the on-ramp that keeps a competitive scene alive. Look, listen, here's why this is a big deal. So, for one, for beginner level DBFZ, for one, it lowers the intimidation barrier. You're walking into a tournament knowing you're going to get instantly smoked by veterans. That shit's rough. And it's too common. Beginner brackets give new players a space where they can actually play the damn game and not just lose in 90 seconds and go home feeling dumb. The psychological safety is huge for helping players feel more welcomed than gatekept. Number 2, they keep new players coming back. Tournaments would be more welcoming and inclusive here. If someone's first tournament experience is 0-2, didn't learn anything, I felt embarrassed, they're unlikely to return. I'm just telling you this now. Beginner brackets let people taste competition. It lets them taste getting wins and feel real progress, which is addictive in a way. Beginner brackets send a clear message. Hey, you belong here, even if you're new. That matters a lot for people who are already unsure or uncertain about entering competitive spaces. In short, beginner brackets aren't like training wheels. They're like infrastructure. Scenes that invest in them survive. Scenes that don't invest in these slowly bleed out, which is the ritual that our homeland has been doing here for years. Number 3, this improves base tournament retention. Not just that one scene, but I'm talking about in general. Ultimately, players having more fun are likely to come back. They're likely to bring their friends, enter more main brackets later. More matches means faster improvement. Players need reps, not just advice. Beginner bracket assessments are key retention tools for the core inclusion to the scene. Also, matches are more competitive overall this way, with brackets running smooth in the sense that higher level players don't feel bad bodying newcomers from this point onward. Everybody wins. Point 4, or number 4, wherever I'm at. They create a learning environment. Beginners are more willing to ask questions and get advice and experiment constantly when they're surrounded by people at a similar level. That's where fundamentals get built instead of just panic reactions, which unfortunately, if you look at a lot of our representatives in the higher level, top level skybox, that's a good chunk of them that just have panic reactions that get by, but because you press buttons good, that's why you're given glazed praising. Number 5, they protect both sides of the skill gap. First of all, veterans don't want to feel like gatekeepers or punching bags for newbies, most of them, and beginners don't want to be a ritualistic target practice. Hopefully the majority of them. Separate brackets make competition better for everybody. And number 6, they grow the scene long term. I want you to listen to that. They grow the scene long term. Today's beginner is tomorrow's mid-level grinder, and eventually a TO, or a streamer, or a coach, or maybe even a top player. It's all about the rooted investment. Scenes that skip beginner support tend to shrink because they rely on the same small group of people playing at whatever level they're playing at forever and a day. Scenes don't grow from hype alone. They grow from activity pipelines. The whole point of beginner brackets leading to other brackets is because it starts a pipeline where everything can be traced from investment to the investment payoff. Beginners, intermediate, advanced, or main bracket. Take your pick. But it all has to start somewhere in establishing a general pipeline. The key takeaway here is you don't support something, eventually it goes away. It's as easy as that. We preached about supporting our scenes, supporting our locals, and all this fuck shit, and yet we couldn't support the simplest integral cog in Fighterz' ecosystem needed to the lane to ensure that we have new gen DBFZ players popping up all the time. I hate to accept it this way, but this is a case in point exactly. Hell, the majority of FGC folk I've been asking about this issue to have a lead actually never knew what the hell TMN was or even is. Old as hell as it is and has been, and it's hosting here. And on PC. It's only on PC. Popping out new killers into the system every day that you see all the time in Tampa, or WAST, or Can Opener, or Paragon, or Plus Frames. The House of Chaos, for fuck's sake.
Seriously? No!
That saddened me. All the years I was strictly on PSN studying and building Iacon outward, even though I already knew what TMN was. I'm not that self-absorbed that you don't pay heed to fellow scenes around you while building like a coming scene yourself. You want to think about those kind of things in order to open up about linking up for things. Early collab thinking, you never know. And to my own scene, to my home world here, Dragon Ball Fighters, I'm disappointed in us. I'm disappointed in a lot of us for not discovering or not making yourselves aware or just not supporting this place to house more of our brothers and sisters to be the ultimate combat monsters or innovators or hosts or supporters and scene creators they were meant to be by now. Equality is too non-existent to where it's just scarce. Stand near its own fairy tale. Nobody putting in anything to invest in the next generation of players equated to nothing or barely a few events scraping by to bring anything out of the next generation as a result. On top of that, the scheduling for these or transparency with the players must not have been favorable for us to still end up losing this all anyways. Without a real host to training mode network, the competitive origin point for new Dragon Ball Fighters is just dead in the water, with no pickup from a real supporter of the cause. As soon as Doveingly left, we lost everything, and nobody contested or batted an eye that it was gone. Going from the old administration to the new. Do you know how sad as that is? I mean, if people really know what it takes to be an organizer, they'd ask themselves, who would want to be a TO? This is why a lot of us preach till we're hoarse about simply supporting your scenes, which you need to keep doing. Support your scenes. Please support the scenes. Stay in the know. You gotta learn how to be a fan of fellow players and people in your same scenes and their work at times to help really network. DBFZ needs a lot of constructive networking. We're all in this together, and prosperity reigns when obliviousness crumbles. I keep staying dissatisfied with this the more I uncover a lot of this scene's past truths to ensure or attempt to reinforce its chances to have a small future, bleak as it is. Like, it's up to time to really rewrite this error. I can't move the dial, but I'm willing to try to make an alternative in place. I'm at least trying to do that now. So what I want to do is I'm going to write out a set measure for the scenario in case it does move the dial later. History can't afford to repeat itself, especially when idiots never learn or never read in order to know about history in the first place. Despite the tools at the hands of the next generation here, in which to stop that being neglected because of inattention reasons. I have a backlog idea for this assessment. It was for PSN mainly, but I see the scene needs it in general probably. It's not split between any of the platforms. I'm making a beginner level tournament template in which the scene has a starter point. I may or may not just try it one time for the servers myself and just see who comes through if my hunch is correct that Zrrkon or the other admins are wrong about the scene being too dead or too far gone to jumpstart a simple beginner level advent point for the game's sake. I don't need to hear about gloom and doomers about, oh, Dragon Ball Fighters is dead, you're not going to get anybody. I don't need to hear that shit. I just need to motivate the lazy asses, which apparently is what most of the current generation of hosts failed to do so for cause and effect reasons. I just have to find that one thing and make that the main thing. If there's a chance the game is updated again, and knowing their luck with Daima on the horizon somewhere, yes, that's going to probably happen. This template is especially going to be needed for a player or person daring enough to make amends to the future scene, if there is one. Have to start somewhere. Someone has to set the example in which others will follow, or lead by, to stop games from losing scenes disgracefully. Additionally, this is a pocket deal. If I can find one of the main administrators or core administrator, I'm also willing to make a deal with Training Mode Network or a representative for an event collaborative proposal to house one or two beginner-themed tournaments with a little bit of an investment on the side, maybe like $20 or $30, maybe $40, in order to help restore a lot of the shown lost interest. I'm even willing to use only for one of those events, or for the one time, some of my Metafy funding that was set aside for Iacon Battle Circuit to solidify the commitment and the return for both labels. Depending upon who you are, this all does sound like a lot, but it's the starting point for something bigger. You have to see the vision is the thing. A real brainstorm needs to spark to solve the rooted problem from our preceding DBFZ generation that was created from inattention, detachment, or just apathy. If you yourself have any ideas out there, chat, to offer or any suggestions, let me know in the comment sections or just DM me how we can solve this problem and try to make it a reality. All this takes is one voice, not mine, yours. And we can make it do what it do.